So yeah, I think we can start with a quick round of introduction, and then I will set up the complete context of what ADPC is, what iCARE is, and how the project started, and how also we got to know Cultivate and Agritmix. And then we can jump into the nitty-gritty of projects. And I would love to hear that how the project went. Would love to understand your experiences from the project and a lot more things. So jumping off to the introduction, I'll just introduce myself first of all, and then we can go around the table. So to all the fellow watchers, I'm Neeraj. I'm a part of the partnerships team here at Cropin, and I take care mostly of the strategic partnerships, the channel partnership, tech partnerships, and the similar ones. So that's about me. I have been in Cropin for more than like 3.5 years now. So it's been a great journey, and being in Cropin, we try to impact a lot of lives through the technology. So the main motto is to intervene technology into the agriculture sector, making the lives for the farmers better. And that is also one of the motto for the iCARE project that we did. So over to you, Prashant, and then we can go around the table.
Thanks, Niraj. I'm Prashant Premakumar. I'm the Group CEO of Cultivate. At Cultivate, our main purpose is bringing technology, agriculture-related technologies to farmers and agri-sector workers and the entire agricultural ecosystem. We are operating in Sri Lanka as well as in Bangladesh at this point. The main purpose of partnering with Cropin is to bring the cropping-related technologies, especially on satellite image processing and farm advisory. We want to get those benefits to farmers in Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. And our experience has been fantastic because we managed to pull through close to 8,000 farmers in both regions. My team, who will be introducing themselves, Shamim Murad from Bangladesh is the CEO who led the project for Bangladesh implementation. And Seshan Kumar was my head of operations who managed the project through for Sri Lanka, achieving great success in both markets. It was a pleasure, actually, and it was a great experience working with Cropin and APDC in getting these benefits across to farmers. We saw some good response from farmers. We saw some very encouraging results and feedback from the farmers as well as the government sectors that we work with. I think it was a great experience for Cultivate as a whole, because our ultimate goal is introducing technologies, our own technologies as well as partner technologies to the farming communities. And it's great pleasure in being able to achieve that. So let me pass it over to my colleague, Seshan, who handled the entire operation in Sri Lanka, for his introduction, and then Shami will introduce himself. Seshan, I think you're on mute.
You're on mute, yeah.
Hi all, my name is Seshan Kumar. So, I look after the business operations for Cultivate. So even though we are a B2B company, we very well understand, getting the technologies to how difficult to get the technology to a root level, because the farmers basically they are not that tech savvy. So it's very difficult, and I find this project is very successful and meaningful at the same time, because we get a lot of feedback from the farmers, especially the farmers from Anuradhapura. They are finding it very beneficial for them. So I think going forward, we need to expand geographically, and also we need to understand there are certain nitty-gritties to be considered, need to be discussed. But overall, I think it's a very successful project.
Thank you.
Thank you, Neeraj. I look after Bangladesh operation for Cultivate Technologies Limited. As just Prashant said, that we are a specialized technology-based company, very much focused on farming community. So this project was very much close to our interest, and we enjoyed it, and we did it very successfully in 2 of the districts in Bangladesh, one in southern part and another in northern part. So in both the districts, we operated in 4 upajilas, and we worked with 4,000 farmers here in Bangladesh, and all of them are still in our connection, and we communicated them very frequently, and most of the farmers are very happy with the result of the project.
Thank you, Samim. Just a little bit correction there. The Bangladesh team actually did a really great job here. It's not 4,000, but we did 4,236 to be exact.
We did some extra to reach the. So yes, we did 4,200, but The target was 4,000.
Right, right. So it was actually great to see the results both in Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. In Sri Lanka also we crossed more than 4,000. I think it was 4,037 or number near to that. So in both the regions we did great job. And when I was in Sri Lanka for the project review, I also heard some great experiences from the farmers as well. Even when Fayyad was there in Dhaka for the interaction with the iCARE people, the farmers were there. There was some government, representation as well. So a lot of good things came from them. A lot of feedback also came from the ADPC and iCARE folks back in the panel. But overall, a great experience working with you guys, working with the entire team. And even I think the Deepika is not here today, who handled the customer success from Cropin side. So CEO also had a lot of things to say. There was Rekha before that, who did the initial training, who did the initial setup for the entire project. And she also had a lot of great things to say for the entire team. So really thank you for that. And before again we go to the main topic, I would also like to give a brief introduction about ADPC here. So ADPC stands for the Asian Disaster Preparedness Center. Now the main motto for ADPC is to bring climate resiliency to the South Asian region. And for that, they started this project called iCARE. So under iCARE, they had selected around 15 innovators back in 2021, I think for the first time, where Cropin was one of the key players there. Again, we worked in Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. The initial target for that project was a little bit less. I think we targeted somewhere around 3,200 farmers at that time. We did not provide any intelligence, a lot of intelligence at that time. Again, because it was a COVID period, I think we were just getting out of COVID, and the second wave came around, and the lockdown happened, and a lot of things happened. Sri Lanka went through a bad stint. There was an economic crisis. Bangladesh had floods at that time. Even though we tried to do our best and we, completed the project at that moment. And this time around, we applied again for the project. They saw some potential in Cropin, in our partners with Agritechnics and Cultivate, and they gave the scale up to Cropin as well. And we are, again, one of the few innovators. I think there are 10 innovators who scaled up the project from the previous time. Cropin is one of them. And I'm also proud to say that we got an award by ADPC during the first quarter, where we were announced as the best innovator within the complete panel. So all our reports went on timely. All our work we did, all the things that were mentioned in the workflow, everything went in a smooth way and in a timely manner. So again, thank you to ADPC for that. And also the World Bank has actually funded this complete project. So all the grants, all the funding that came, it came directly from the World Bank. And I think there were a few other donors as well. We're also eyeing for a bigger scale up. We're trying to do our best. We're trying to find donors from our side, trying to get some contact from the government, from your side, and see how we can scale this up to a further level. So I think we would be here for a long-term partnership and creating impact for a longer time. And yeah, so before we get into the main project, I would like to understand from all of you that how do you think is agriculture technology shaping in both Sri Lanka and Bangladesh? I mean, because we all know it is not a developed region, be it India or the whole Indian subcontinent, the South Asian region, or even the Southeast Asia. The difference is that the developed nation have already opted for agriculture technology maybe like 5 or 7 years ago. And currently the whole subcontinent is seeing that transition slowly and steadily. So as founders, as working in the sector, as being a contributor to the agriculture technology sector, how do you think is it shaping up? Is it picking, or do you see any setbacks or any challenges in this journey?
So Diraj, let me start on that. I think we cannot really directly compare with the Western world with the developing world. That is where we belong to, South Asia and Southeast Asia. South Asia specifically, in each market, if you take India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Pakistan, almost 30 to 40% of the population depend on agricultural income, directly or indirectly, and in most cases as their main source of income. It's also a population who has been, predominantly in the farming for ages. I think we have been farming from ever since we know history. So it's not that easy. The farming practices has been conventional. Very little technology has come into effect throughout. Although there have been technologies on irrigation, etc., ancient technologies that we have developed, we have formulated. But when it comes to digitalized technologies, we've been very slow to the adaptation. But One other key constraint has also been the networks, infrastructure facilities, education level, technology acceptance, cost of technology. For example, buying smart devices and all is still considered a bit of an expensive investment. And most of the farmers are also in the age group categories of 50 and above. So they're not they've not been introduced to technology for a very long time, right? So it's very difficult, this transformation journey. If you take Sri Lanka, the smartphone acceptance among farmers is very low. And so is the case in Bangladesh as well. So the project that we did, how we approached it by not giving smartphone directly to a farmer, but using our own field agents to onboard the farmers and get the farmers' data. And then the farmers receiving SMS, which they're a bit more comfortable because they're used to using, phones, basically 2G based phones, conventional phones, right? But we are still able to bring the technology. I think that's the right approach, at least at this stage, at this part of time. Hopefully in the future, as we go in for the next 5 years, 10 years, we might see more smartphone adaptation by farmers. I believe that will happen. But I think it's also a slow progress. But I believe with more technologies, with more benefits, when farmers realize that they can earn more, okay, when they really see the monetary benefit, direct monetary benefit, I think we can see better adaptation among farmers for technology. And companies like us, Cropin, Cultivate, who are focused on bringing technology to these farmers, as much as we develop on the go, in the future, I think in the future is very bright. I think farmers will also benefit, we will also benefit, and we'll also have the conviction that we have, helped many farmers, adapt technology.
That's good to hear that. Yeah, I mean, people are currently adopting the technology, so that is something that you as a founder must be very happy for that. Again, being in the IT sector and predominantly in the agriculture sector, it is one of the most difficult sector. I mean, when we talk about fintech, when we talk about education technology, the technology intervention is very easy. People understand technology there, but farming as a sector is very difficult.
I totally agree with you, Niraj. I think agri is a brutal sector. I mean, I've always told this to every investor, stakeholder, staff. It's a sector that we are doing a change in behavior, right? And it's a rural technology. It's not the urban technology. As you said, fintech, edtech, health tech, everything is for the urban population, for the executives and people who are working in corporates, the city dwellers, who are more adaptable to technology. But in our case, we are dealing with farmers. So we are impact driven. So we have to think of the wider picture. We need to think of a long-term play. We can't look at exponential fast growth. We have to consider people first and foremost. We have to consider the people, our audience, who are the farmers, who are the backbone of our industry, of our countries, of our economies. But there is a way that we have to deal with them and help them adapt and nurture them with technology, but it has to be done systematically. It's a tough sector, but I think the way we are approaching companies like us, the way we are approaching is the right way forward. And I think we will see results in the future. I think in the near future, we will see better results.
Completely agree. Samim, Sachin, anything you want to add?
I want to add with Prashant that I have this kind of experience from back in 2014, and I have seen the perception of farmers believing in technology has changed a lot. So at times they are very much reluctant to believe the weather forecast, that whether it will actually happen or not. But now I have seen that when they get weather forecast from a reliable source, this kind of SMS, they take initiative and they believe in it. So now they also they're eager to get information about management practice, about fertilization, about irrigation. So this kind of thing, this perception has been changed. And if we continue this kind of projects with a large area, I think this will change eventually. And it will be very helpful to introduce and to bring more technology to the farming community.
Thank you, Samim. Sachin?
Yeah, Neeraj, I would say there's a distinct difference between when it comes to technological adaptation, when it comes to an agriculture business and a farmer. Okay, because right now, say there are almost 4,020 farmers which we onboarded to this Cropin project. So out of the entire farmer database, around 20 to 25%, I would say it's kind of a youth community farmers. Okay. So when I go and pitch these ideas to them, they get more excited than the older farmers. Okay. So I think going forward, like, there will be a technological adaptation, but it will gradually increase with projects like this. And also precision agriculture and usage of drones for fertilizer, all these small technological advancements also getting little kind of famous among these youth farmers. So I would say when we keep on advancing on these kind of projects, we can see a distinct difference within another 5-6 years.
Understood. Oh, thank you for that session. So I'll also give you a context of when we started the project. Like Prashant, you were telling, we did not give any mobile application to the farmers directly and operate for SMS. So when we started the project, we initially had a thought of directly providing them with the applications. Cropin has its own application called Cropin Connect, where farmers can use the mobile application to get the notifications, voice messages. They can just post a picture to the agronomist and all, and rest can be taken care of. So we thought that would be a good way to go. And even in the previous project, there were a few farmers who were provided with mobile application. But taking a learning from the previous project itself, we saw that the SMS delivery wasn't even that great. So penetrating a market like Sri Lanka or Bangladesh or even India, for that fact, or Pakistan or the entire subcontinent, the adaptation for technology is so low that we opted for SMS. There were a few other thoughts, going through the WhatsApp services and all. We tried a WhatsApp service as well, and we saw that more than 70% of the messages that we sent bounced. So probably 70% were not having WhatsApp at that time. So seeing that only, we tried to do a few testing here and there, and then we opted for SMS finally. And that actually turned out to be great. And so previously, when we did the initial project, the pilot project in 2021, we were not providing them with any disease early warning system. We did not provide them with a lot of weather climate smart advisory. It was mostly the good agricultural practices, and then a little bit information on the agri input, like the chemical and fertilizers for the field. But this time around, when we scaled up the entire project, we thought, why not include the thing that Cropin can do is best. We can give proper climate smart advisory, including the disease early warning system. So if there is a chance for a particular disease, the farmers, they will get a message on their mobile that a disease is going to hit within this days, and these are the call to actions that you should take. We gave them with climate smart advisory, giving them proper weather reports, the wind speed, the humidity report, and then we also gave them the exact number of how much agri input to be used in the field as well. And I think from the experiences that I have heard from the farmers, back in Sri Lanka, and even what Fayed had mentioned, and in the workshop in Dhaka, I see that a lot of farmers did choose to go through technology. So it was again a great experience on how they chose, how they went, taking the technology. Like Sesson told that the younger farmers are more interested in this rather than the older farmers, right? So it is again great to hear all these things from everyone. So, related to that, I would actually like to understand, how did the farmers initially react to the project? Like when you went to the village, or when the team went to the village, what was their exact reaction? From what I hear is that they were a little bit reluctant at first to provide the information, but then they started doing it. So how did you handle that? How was your reaction, and how did the farmers react?
I think I'll let Seshan and Shamim answer this better. But before that, let me tell you one critical thing is that farmers in this part of the world, right? There's been many approaches by similar entities to introduce them to technologies, not just from non-governmental, even government entities, even government ministry, from the agricultural ministries, etc. At least in the case of Sri Lanka, time to time they've gone and tried to create these awareness sessions, try to introduce technology, try to get them educated, get the farmers educated. And there's been attempts by other companies also in providing solutions to farmers, but it has never been sustainable. They want someone to come and give an introduction, show them an application, create them awareness, and then there has been no follow-up since then. So I think this is the case in both in Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. What I feel is there is a bit of a understanding among the farmers that these are sporadic or attempts by different parties, but it's quite uncoordinated. So they're just taking the farmers' time and with no results coming out, right? So we felt that constraint even last time when we did this project as well. A number of farmers gave that feedback. So people come, they give us some advice, but we don't even get an SMS, follow-up SMS, right? In this instance, we did better. Like now, I think many of the farmers, they were happy to see the SMS, and even now they're hoping that the SMS will continue. But these attempts by different parties in different timelines going and trying to, without a coordinated or sustainable plan to go and help out farmers, also negatively creates an impression among the farmers that these are not long-standing sustainable solutions. So that's one of the challenges I think when this time we felt. But luckily, we had a more continuous discussion, communication with the farmers, and the team. I think Shamim and Seshan both did a great job in making sure there was constant, continuous communication with the farmers. But the real challenges I would let Shashank to speak on behalf of Sri Lanka. Shashank, and then also Shamim from Bangladesh. Yeah.
So Neeraj, initially, when we pitched this idea, okay, there's a huge reluctance from the farmers because they have, come across a lot of scams, financial frauds, there are, few small private companies who come and collect all, because we are collecting all sensitive information, their name, their NIC numbers, their mobile phone numbers and all, right? So, they have gone through such incidents, and, initially there are a lot of, clarifications to be made and all. So we thought, the better way to gain their trust is to, just to get someone among their community. So, for instance, say, for Madhavache, that Anuradhapura district, we found a person, the field officer, luckily his mother is one of the agricultural secretary for the entire farmer society. So we explained, so from her, it passed down to the farmers. So they had some sort of a trust towards the project. Then they started, giving all these informations to us. Similarly, when it comes to Vavuniya district, there is a farmer who has been a field officer for us. The same for the Puttalam district as well. Okay, so even though if you go through a particular government organization, still the confidence is very less among the farmers, because on and off they are going through all these. People come and say you're going to get some loan, fertilizers loan, give your details. We can give for less interest for all these tractors, leasing and everything. They have gone through a lot. So the moment you go and ask their name and NIC numbers and all these sensitive information, they will be reluctant. But when the SMS started flowing up, okay, then they had a huge confidence with the project. So even when we go back again next time, I don't think we have this much of a reluctance.
Good to know that. I mean, we are for sure eyeing on, scale up. So the farmers that we already have will still be the part of the project, but we are also trying to expand to more locations. So for now, we have been in the northern, north central, and then northwestern part. We would like to go to the northeastern and south side, maybe Jaffna and the southern region as well. So I think that is a good, thing that to know that people.
When we're expanding right now, we have a case study, so at least we can have a reference to show them. So yeah.
Exactly. Samim, anything about Bangladesh, how the team felt, how you felt?
Our experience is not different from Sri Lanka. It's almost, I should say, the similar kind of experience. But the two districts we have chosen in southern part Jashore and in the northern part Rangpur, these two districts is comparatively, they have more progressive farmers. And the team here worked with us. They are very experienced, and many of them is a familiar face in the locality. So they worked with previous projects, and the farmers, they have some credibility. So this also helped us to collect data, because these are sensitive data, as Shashank said, that NID, they are asking some personal information and also land information. So they're very reluctant to share that how much land area they are cultivating for which crop, because there's a trade sensitivity. So, but this also, as they knew the person and also our effort, and when we explained the whole thing, that how they will be supported throughout the project, this helped out. And also, as I said earlier, that in both the Jashore and Rangpur area, the farmers are a bit progressive farmers than the other districts. So this also helped us to continue these projects. And the best part is every single farmers are still, when we're calling back, that how is the project going on, so they all express this the similar interest that I want to get more SMS and more information. So that's the best part of our experience that we have learned from this project.
Got it. No, good to hear on that. And like you told, regarding the locations, Jashore and then Rangpur in Sri Lanka, we went to Vavunia, Puttalam, and then Anuradhapura. So what I know is that Jashore, again, it comes near a river. I think even Rangpur is situated in a river bank. I think Anuradhapura, the region, is also near a river bank. So I think flooding is some issue that probably all these regions must have in common. So I just wanted to understand, before Cropin, was there any such kind of technology that that I try to intervene, or the farmers were using any kind of technology, be it the news, TV, social media, or even any mobile application or similar tech solution like Cropins or Cultivate to basically get information on disaster management, or how they used to do a disaster management in that case? Because flood or similar kind of issue is something that you could get a precaution, but you are never prepared for such kind of disaster. So I'd like to understand how were farmers trying to basically do the risk mitigation in these cases.
I think in case of Sri Lanka, there is no technology as such. I mean, as I said, there is not been any smart application related technology that's directly reached out to farmers. So generally the farmers stick to conventional mechanisms such as news and radio news and TV news, etc., and also word of mouth or advice by the agricultural extension offices of the government, extension offices, etc. That has been the predominant way, and farmers also used to this. So introduction of technology is going to happen from this point only, and what we introduced actually will help them. But I think in the case of Bangladesh also, Shamim, I believe it's the same situation, right? I don't think there is any widespread smartphone application usage for disaster management or disaster prevention. Shamim, maybe you can confirm on that.
Here in Bangladesh, we don't have any application for this kind of prevention, but there is a government project with some support of international organizations, that is flood alert SMS. So in most of the large rivers, there are some tools that we can record the height of the water, and we can forecast. So there is a flood alert system in almost more than 70 places. So it's all over the country. So they can get SMS. But again, these SMS is not for every farmers. It's for the extension officers. So from extension officers, and it need to reach. So there is some kind of gap there.
I think this is more relevant to Bangladesh. Bangladesh has flooding way more often than us. Yeah. Of course, it's got a higher density of rivers flowing through. I think many of the Indian rivers are coming and reaching the sea through Bangladesh, right? Yeah. In Sri Lankan context, I think especially the districts that we spoke about, Polnaruwa, Anuradhapura, etc. We do have rivers, but flooding is only during the monsoon season where there is heavy rains. And then we have 2 seasons that's well coordinated accordingly. The timing is such that we do have flooding concerns, but not to the level of Bangladesh. So I think therefore, I think many of the communications regarding this can go through extension officers and the TV news, etc. I think that's where the farming community is used to. But of course, if we can get the farmers adapted to smartphone technologies and applications usage, they will be better informed. They can take preventive measures. They will have better advice as to what are the methods, what are the actions they should be taking. So these sort of technologies will really very, very invaluable for the farmers, but something that we need to slowly introduce to the rural farming communities.
Understood. And since we were talking about a little bit of setback like a flooding, so this is I think more on context of Bangladesh itself. In June and July, during that period, we saw political instability in Bangladesh. We saw a major protest, in the entirety of country. So I just wanted to understand from you, Samim, how the team actually managed to get the information of the farmers, even though they were going through a protest, even though there were setbacks during that region. So how was the team actually managing all these things, and how was your experience during that time of this situation?
Yeah, in fact, we had this situation, and it was so a month long, but this was mostly concentrated on the urban areas. So when in the rural area where we are communicating, so it didn't affect that much. I shouldn't say that was something that it hindered a lot. It was not that kind of issue. And our team members, they maintained very good relationship with the farmers, and they were stationed in those areas. So it didn't affect that much. It was a situation, it's a nationwide situation, but mostly it's in urban areas.
Got it. Because during that particular period, when we were also trying to send SMSs to Bangladesh, we could not send, because of the shutdown and a lot of things. I think there were some even sanctions or probably some region because of which we as an entity in India could not register ourselves as a to send the SMSs, though we took a different route.
It's not India, it's any country. So
any
if
country.
any kind of agriculture information, you need to go through
Bangladesh
the
itself.
Department of Experimentation. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not.
Oh, they're good to know. So because a lot of things were happening at that time, so we thought that it might be one of the region. But even though things did not go well or things did not happen well, as a political scenario, it's good to know that in the rural areas as well, there wasn't any problem as such. And even from our side, when Rekha was the customer success executive, she used to have a constant touch with the entire team. I think I saw a couple of messages. I saw her taking calls with Fayyad and the entire team to make sure that the implementation was smooth. So I mean, good to know that the rural region at least is away from all the setbacks. Prashant's session, I would also want to understand how did the team actually manage to get the information of the 4,000 farmers in such a short amount of time. And these were again in different regions. It was not just concentrated at one part, but this northern part, the north central, and then the northwestern. So how did the team manage to go and get the information of all these farmers?
So let Seshana answer this, but primarily as a business, since we kicked off our operation in Sri Lanka, we have got well-established network across the country. And we have the expertise. We have mapped out all those who are connected to the farmers. As Seshan said, we for such projects, we identify the right individuals who will facilitate this. So that network really helped us in this project and many other projects that we are doing on in ourselves in Sri Lanka. So we have the lay of the land, and we have the required people to execute such projects in short time. And that has been the key factor. And people like Sheshan, who have extreme talent and project management skills in making sure such rural implementation. I think Sheshan is someone who's in the mountainside or is in the rural side. He spends more time there than in Colombo these days, especially since he became part of the Cultivate family. So that has been the success for me. I relied on both Shamim and Sheshan to execute this project, and they did it really well. And also even I think Fayad supported Shamim on this. Session and the entire algorithmics team supported Session on this. So I need to thank my team for pulling this off. But the Session will explain, I think, how he systematically did it.
Yeah, Shamim, Neeraj, the thing is, as you said, initially there was a lot of resistance in getting the information. Okay, we tried a lot of government officials like Grama Sevakadis, aggregate secretaries and everything. Even though if we can get the information, we don't know whether these information are valid. Okay, because the phone numbers are sometimes it doesn't work. The NIC numbers are wrong. The date of birth doesn't match with the NIC numbers when we go and get this information. So we can't be filling all these informations to your system as well, because the system needs to do some justification for that. You need to have some sort of a reliable data on it. So we thought it's better to get hold on to some of the farmers who are not tech savvy, at least who are using normal smartphones, who falls under below 35 years of age. Then we figured out 3 people from 3 regions, and we approached them. We initially explained them what's the benefit of this project, what's the outcome. And the moment when we say, like, the SMSs will be sent on their mother, like, based on their mother tongue, like, whether it's Sinhala or Tamil, because these are more primarily used language here. So they were kind of got a little excited because, more than how when you're sharing the information, more than the agricultural practices, when you just give climate advisories, that's the major advantage for them, because climate changes, none of us have control over it. Okay, because without you and me, they are doing the agriculture for about 50-60 years now. So climate change is the only thing they need to know, and most of them are like get to know these things from radios, which they say like it's not whether sometimes it happens, sometimes it may not happen, so they don't have a control over it. So when we explain the project in such a way, and when we convince these farmers, so these farmers took it to the other society, other social agricultural societies, and likewise we try to cover it within a shorter period of time. Yeah, that's how it worked.
That's great to know that there has been analysis done before this on this to understand the demographics of the farmers that we are going to target. It's not completely random at all, and
yeah,
farmers
it's about human behavior, right? Like when you go and just simply say this to a government official, they doesn't feel excited on this. Right? So it should be conveyed to the root level in a proper manner. So it's better like we convey it through a farmer itself. That's what.
That's good to know, Krishan. Samim, was the experience same? I mean, like, did you take the same route, or was there a different kind of route that you took to get the 4,236 farmers to be exact?
So I must thank the team, especially I should mention three persons, Fayyad, Amidul Hai, and also Shafiqur Rahman. And Shafiqur Rahman, he has almost 30 years of experience in working with farmer clubs in Bangladesh. He's one of the most senior person I have seen in this industry, and also two managers who work in both the districts, Ismail and Asma. So they were the four-person very much instrumental in the successful inclusion of all the farmers, and they all have more than 10 years of experience, and they worked very hard. And the good thing is they know the thing what they're going to do, because all of them, we came from a project called Fosholi, that was a Dutch funded project. There we supported 500,000 farmers with similar kind of advisory services, with satellite image processing, pest alert, and weather forecast, that we started back in 2014. And the project implemented from 2016 to 2019. So that was a huge success in Bangladesh. And the team know that how to manage those farmers and how to inspire them. So that was a very helpful thing, and the experience worked a lot. So I must thank to my team.
That's great, Shamim. And even like when I went to Sri Lanka, I heard, like when we were in the, I was with Prashant, and there was Mr. Irfan Makbul from ADPC. So we were sitting and we did a few interactions with the farmers. So there was the farmer union president from Medawachaya, I think from the Anuradhapura district only. So she told that the SMS that she is getting, let's say that she gets a notification or the SMS regarding the weather that it's going to rain today, then she would shift her complete focus from agriculture and start focusing on her second business, that is dairy. So that is how smartly they were also using this technology. It was not just for farming, but it was also for their own time management and kind of managing their own system. Apart from that, I also heard from the field officer from the same village. He told that the farmers were using like 50 or 60% more fertilizers, chemical in their fields. But when Cropin and when through this project we started giving the SMS, we used to give them a particular amount, that this must be the amount that you're going to spray in the entire field. So they used that amount, and it saved more than 50 to 60% of their entire cost. So this is the kind of impact we are seeing. I would like to also hear from your side, like, are there any feedbacks that the farmers gave, or are there any feedbacks from your side through which we can make this project better, maybe when we scale up, when we go to a different level?
I think, Niraj, what you heard in Sri Lanka was only 2 or 3 farmers, right?
Right.
But I think we've got many more feedback. I think due to the time constraint, when Mr. Irfan and yourself visited Sri Lanka, we only had the ability to introduce you to 2 or 3 farmers and get their feedback. But I think Seshan and my team in the ground has told me that many farmers have actually, even in fact, one of my field agents was saying that when he was visiting one of the farms, he saw a farmer. It was not unplanned, right? It was absolute coincidence. He saw a farmer reading one of the SMS sent to us, right? So that's the level of adaptation that we saw. There was many feedbacks that was given offline, and generally it was very positive, very good acceptance. Session will have more things to share in this. But I think these are projects that we need to continue, and we need to see how we can provide this as a sustainable solution. One of the concern is if we at any point discontinue sharing this SMS to the farmers, they might lose trust, faith, and also the benefit that these technologies bring to them. So we have to see how we can continue sustaining through. Of course, we need the funding for this. We need some donors to support us on this, or scaling up the project, so that the farmers who have already bought into this concept, they continue to see the benefits. And this is where agri-tech companies like ourselves, yourself, we also need greater support for inventors like us, implementers like us, to take these technologies to the farming communities to provide a more sustainable solution. Session will have more experience, I think, on adaptation feedback by the farmers in Sri Lanka. But in general, as the founder of this business, trying to pass this benefit, take this benefit to the farmers, we are very encouraged, and our enthusiasm level always goes up when we see some farmer happy or giving some positive feedback. In that context, I must say we are very thrilled and excited at the way the farmers have responded. We only hope that we can continue, we can sustain providing this benefit to the farmers continuously.
Yeah, Neeraj, one of the highlighted feedback which I frequently get from the farmers is generally we used to share 1 or 2, maximum of 2 SMSs per week. Okay, so the major concern for them is during the 2 seasons, the Maha season and the other season, they are expecting more SMS per week. Okay, whether it can be climate change or advisories regarding their practices or anything. They expect more SMS per week during this season. And recently, there was a cyclone happened around almost 330,000 acres of land has been kind of went into a devastation. So all these things can be controlled with all these positive SMSs prior notice given to them. So this is one key point which I got. And the second thing is the acceptance is really high, and after even onboarding 4,000 farmers, even I got some more database from some other areas as well. Okay, since I was at a constraint to limit to 4,000 people, because with the word of mouth, they are pretty much happy with what they are getting right now. So it has gone to some other areas, and people started asking us. So I said it's a continuous process, and we'll be continually engaging with you. We'll be updating the farmer database. So I think that's the main 2 feedbacks which I got from the floor.
Understood. Thank you, Sachin. Samim, any feedback that the farmers you heard from Bangladesh, from the team?
It's very similar to Sri Lanka, because our farmers we contracted, they want more information, and they want to get these SMS more frequently in both the region. And they think that many of the projects it's only for 1 year, and then it's not running. So it will be very helpful for them if we can continue similar kind of projects, and because they find the value in getting this kind of SMS and getting this information, and they loved it. So I think if we can continue this kind of projects, and we can disseminate information, knowledge to them that they really value, they will take it. And more younger farmers are joining, because most of the farmers we have found the average age is around 50. So now their new family members are joining. So they are young members. They are very much oriented with the phone, a smartphone. So I think these kind of activities and these kind of projects they will love.
I think technologies like Cultivate, Agritechnics, Cropin can again join hands in such a situation to make a better technological advancement in the complete sector. And it is good to know that the government is taking some kind of steps, and government is noticing the work we are doing. And I think it's high time that once we also try our level best, we do whatever we can do, and then join hands with the government, work together, and pave the way for the future. So I think, again, the project went really great. I have heard some, great stories from you guys, the great stories that I heard in Sri Lanka from the farmers, what Fayyad had mentioned in the workshop, the government officials. So everything actually shows that we are moving in the right direction. The only problem being that we must continue this project. If we stop at this point, it is again a reset button for us, going again in the next few years, to get the data, give them SMS, give them information. So this is something that we are also trying our level best to get a proper donor who can continue supporting the project, or get a support from the government so that the project continues in a smooth manner. And the ADPC team also has a vision that the government would take ownership of the project sometime in future. Maybe not in a couple of years, but it might take 5 years or 7 years. But they want the government to take the ownership and implement it in a countrywide region. That is the reason that even we received a mail from ADPC saying that they would like to support Cropin's vision. They would like to support Agritechnics and Cultivate's vision to continue this project. And they are also trying to find a proper donor for us. And, fingers crossed, I hope that the project continues and we expand to a more level. We reach to more farmers, give them more information, maybe expand to different crops if possible, or maybe give them more other information regarding their own fields and everything that we can do. So again, I like being leaders in this agriculture technology sector. It is very nice to talk to each one of you. Samim, thank you for your time. I'm meeting you for the first time, and it's been a pleasure. Prashant, Sesson, like all the time, always a pleasure talking to you guys. Sesson, I hope that we meet sometime soon whenever I'm in Sri Lanka, and I hope that you are not off, on a deployment sometime soon at the time. But thank you guys. Thank you for your time, and really nice to talk to you. And I think we are doing a great job, and I hope that the governments and the other agencies also take a notice of this.
Thanks, Neeraj. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Neeraj.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Much.
Have a great day. Bye, guys.
Thank you. Thanks, sir.